Hi everyone. So let's do a pick a card style reading today for your love and trust. So I'm going to choose one card from each of these two decks. So we're starting with Queen of Swords. And from this deck, we have Nine of Swords. So we have Queen of Swords and Nine of Swords. So take as much time as you need to determine which of these two cards is really calling you the most, or which one feels most resonant with you and your love situation. And there will be timestamps, one for the Queen of Swords and one for the Nine of Swords, in the description and in the pinned comment. And I will see you in your reading. So for those of you who chose the Queen of Swords, this is going to be your reading for your love and trust. So we're going to use two tarot decks and then an oracle deck to see if we can get some insight into what is happening between you and this person that you're interested in. So we have Death, the Lovers, Nine of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Three of Wands, King of Wands, Temperance, and the Star. Underneath, we have the Emperor. So I'd like to use one more tarot deck. To clarify some of these. So there's the Two of Swords, the Hanged One, Five of Cups, Seven of Wands, Eight of Wands, the Fool. Underneath we have Judgment. And then finally, I'd like to get a couple more oracle cards, and then we can get started in unpacking all of this. So we have Healing with Releasing, Purifying, Cleansing. And then we have Return, Second Chance, Opportunity, and Making Amends. So certainly what this return card is telling me is that this is not your first time around with this person, that you are perhaps giving each other a second chance. Maybe you're giving your person a second chance, or you're giving them some kind of an opportunity to make up for what they did. And with the Eight of Wands, you might be doing this because the two of you are in alignment, where perhaps you were not in alignment before. It feels like you definitely are now. And that's what the Eight of Wands is when the energy is so perfectly aligned that everything can move through very quickly and smoothly with no delay or no blockages. And then I'm also seeing the King of Wands here, which really means to me that the two of you are very passionate about each other, that you're very drawn to each other, that you're very magnetized to each other. So that might be why you want to give them another chance because of that. But there is a very almost lustful type of energy coming from this King of Wands and the Eight of Wands, that there's a lot of attraction and energy, sparks, chemistry that exists between the two of you. So that might also be contributing to why you want to give this person another chance, or why you're giving each other another chance, because it does feel like if there was something that was misaligned before, that there's a really good chance that it's in alignment now. It feels like neither one of you is really taking a lot of action right now. Your person is showing up as a Three of Wands. So it feels to me like you're both still kind of side-eyeing each other, where you're both like thinking that it's going to work out this time, that you're feeling like it's better, it's more aligned, that the yin and the yang are balanced with temperance, and the emotions and the chemistry are balanced with temperance, but your person is still kind of hanging out, just waiting to see what's going to happen. But I kind of think that you are too. It feels to me that you're trying to be disciplined about this and not get too excited about this second chance because perhaps you've been disappointed before when you've come back or allowed this person back in, or vice versa. That it just feels like you're both kind of side-eyeing this, like, we've both been burned before, or you've been burned, or they've been burned. So you know you're coming back together, but neither one of you is really very excited yet about it. It's almost like you want to be excited because of the King of Wands and the Eight of Wands, but you're not really allowing yourself to be excited about it because you're worried that this is just going to end in disaster, perhaps because it has before. Your person has a lot of love for you because in their feelings, they're showing up as the Six of Cups and the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is reminding us that they have persisted with this relationship, that this is not the first go around, but we saw that with return. And so I do feel that this person is really coming back in with a lot of conviction, but also with this Six of Cups, they really want you. They don't want to be alone. They feel like you are their home, because the Six of Cups can be the card of home and or returning home. And we do have this card return, and you just feel like home to them. And so I think that's why they want to continue. They feel like they want to keep fighting for this. They feel like they want to keep giving this more chances. They feel like they want to make sure that they've done everything they possibly could before they were to do something like give up on this relationship. I think your feelings are a bit more complex because your feelings are showing up as the Star and the Fool. And so I'm seeing healing here too. So I know that you are feeling like this relationship has put you through the ringer, but I think it's also been in a way that you really needed in order to really push through some of these shadow sides of you. The hidden sides of you with the Star feel like they've really come out in this relationship. So perhaps the two of you were mirroring each other. And if you weren't mirroring each other, then perhaps this person was really shining the mirror up to your face so that you could see exactly what you were doing wrong or contributing to the issues in the relationship, or vice versa. Or maybe you were both doing that. But I think that this has really allowed you to heal. There's been a deeply healing, transformative process here for you. And I think for your person too, because of this Six of Cups. So I do think that this relationship was needed in order to really shine the light on each other's wounds so that you could heal. But I think that you're feeling optimistic about this, but you're cautiously optimistic. But you do feel now that this relationship is more free to be healthy and to move forward in a more positive way, because we're seeing that it's more in alignment with the Eight of Wands. You see your person as being deeply transformed by this, and I think that you are really seeing your person correctly. They're showing up as the Death card here. And I think that you both planted a seed within each other, and in a way where you could work with each other, you could trigger each other's wounds, but do it in a safe way and in a way that feels like you were being advocates for each other. So there's almost this deep knowingness, even when you're triggering each other, that you're meant to trigger each other because it was your soul's agreement, or whatever you agreed to, perhaps in a past life or in between lives, or whatever that is. The two of you agreed to do this for each other. And I think that somewhere on a soul level, you knew you were working on the same team, that you were advocating for each other, even when you were triggering each other. But I think your person really sees that you are getting exhausted from this. And I think that they're having a lot of compassion about that they really see that you're side-eyeing them because you don't maybe trust them anymore, or maybe you never did trust them, or they did something to break the trust. And if that's the case, I think that that's their karma. I think that that was the consequences for whatever their actions were, that perhaps they broke the trust. but they can see that you are absolutely exhausted and that this has affected you in a really deep way, which I think is why they want to do the work now. They want to really show up for you and prove to you that this is something that they want to take that exhaustion from you. They want to take that load on for you and show you that you don't have to do all the work on your own. So perhaps you were doing all the work on your own before, which is what left you exhausted and left you perhaps thinking like you wanted to try something else. But I do think that your person sees you as like, you're done, you're almost done. And that this time it's going to be the last time unless it really works. I think that your person is really holding back communication, or perhaps they're just not a good communicator, which is also what I'm getting. I think your person doesn't trust their intuition. I think that your person tends to use their thinking mind instead of their heart and their intuition, even though they feel very deeply for you. They're not really telling you about how they feel. And I think that's left you with more questions than answers. But they can see that you're healing. They can see that you're exhausted. They know that they love you, but they're really not coming forward. They're just still hanging back with this Three of Wands energy. So that's a bit concerning because it feels like there needs to be more done on their side, and it feels like they know that, but I don't really see them doing that. And I think that what I'm really strongly getting from you, I feel like I've already said that you're in this spot right now where you're fluctuating between getting excited to plant a brand new seed with this person and getting excited to really start something new and having a breakthrough with this person because you're in alignment finally. But then you fluctuate between dwelling on what used to happen or how they used to be or what they did or didn't do, and you feel yourself avoiding them too. So you're going back and forth between wanting to start but then avoiding it. And that may be why your person is hesitating with this Three of Wands. That might be exactly why they are hesitating. But I can see that this relationship, it's like you both are so determined to make this work, but it feels like you're approaching it from completely different perspectives and different strategies. But you're both awakening. You're both having this revelation that this is really meant to be. And I think the thing that keeps the two of you together is the love you have for each other, because we have the Lovers. So we are seeing that you choose each other. There is definitely this strong feeling that you want each other and no one else. There is no one else. This is a very deep and spiritual connection. And with the Hanged One, you can see the transitions that you both have gone through and the sacrifices that both of you have made and the wounds that you have healed or at least looked at. You've been having to really look at the fact that you both had wounds that needed healing, but you are releasing that. You're purifying and cleansing your energy, especially with this Hanged One. So it does really feel like there is a lot that's keeping the two of you together, which I think is why you keep coming back together. I do get the sense that the strongest advice that's coming through here is that you're coming together again. You're in better alignment this time, but there's still a need on your side to really put to rest this idea of dwelling in the past or avoiding your feelings for this person. Because I think if you acknowledge your feelings and are clear about that, that will help your person's hesitance, and they'll come towards you more, and then you'll be able to really pick this up and really build steam with this person. But if you're fluctuating back and forth, your person's going to stay in this energy of hesitancy is what I really see there. And so I think that the point of this relationship is meant to heal each other and to be vulnerable with each other. And I think in this case, it starts with you just putting the past behind you so this person can stop being so hesitant, because they know they were the ones who messed it up. And so they don't want to approach you at a speed that's going to scare you off. So if you come forward confidently that you're not going to get scared off, then I think your person's going to match your confidence level and approach you that way. So For those of you who chose the Queen of Swords, this is your reading for your love interest. Will you please let me know how this was resonant for you? Consider subscribing to the channel if you like my vibe, and we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye. So for those of you who chose the Nine of Swords, this is going to be your reading for your love interest. So let's see what else wants to come out with the tarot. I'm going to use 2 tarot decks and then 1 oracle deck to see what kind of energies want to come out. So we have the 10 of Cups, 6 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, Strength, 5 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, the Lovers, 4 of Wands. Underneath, we have the 6 of Pentacles. So let's get another tarot deck just to get a few more energies. So there's the 4 of Cups, 8 of Wands, Queen of Wands, Page of Cups, Queen of Cups, 8 of Cups, and underneath is the Sun. And then let's get a couple of oracle cards and then we can really get into this. So there's wedding rings and not enough. So let's start with the energy that exists between the two of you. So we have the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and not enough. So the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups, this is really about heart communication. I think the two of you are very, very strongly connected when it comes to your heart chakras. I get the sense with the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups, and then because it's being highlighted here by this not enough, that when the two of you met, it feels like you were both really taken off guard, that this was a shocking kind of event that happened, that something changed suddenly, that there was some surprise involved when it comes to the two of you coming together. But it's been extremely transformative. And I do think that there is a heart-to-heart connection. There's some kind of telepathy, some kind of communication that goes on between your hearts. And I think with this Queen of Cups too, that it's a really intuitive connection. It's a really deep connection. You're really, there's been a lot of progress, let's say, between the two of you, but perhaps only in the heart space, because it looks like in the 3D space, that someone is self-sabotaging or someone is sabotaging this relationship. Someone's letting their ego get in the way. Someone is lacking confidence. Someone is frustrated. So it's a very dichotomous type of energy where there's so much love. This is about as deep as you can go with love, but yet someone is sabotaging it. So we'll have to keep going to see what else wants to come out, but it does feel like someone wasn't ready. Someone wasn't ready for this. Your person is resisting it. So I do get the sense that they're the ones who are not ready, or the one who is not ready. Because I think they feel more peaceful and less chaos when they are on their own, when they're independent, when they're not dealing with other people. I think that they feel just that their long game, their long-term plan is to be independent and to be alone. So when they met you and fell deeply in love with you, that may be that shocking event that I was talking about, because they don't want to, it looks to me like they don't want to look at their wounds, and they don't want to look at their healing, and they don't want to look at what triggers them. So they'd rather just stay here by themselves where no one triggers them. But you are showing up as the Lovers. And so I think that you are well aware that when the two of you met, this really activated some kind of a divine love. And I think that's exactly what happened. And I think that your person is now having to make this decision about either accepting this for what it is and looking at their wounds, or just going the easy route and denying it and not choosing it. But I think that you know that this activation has already happened, and that whether your person likes it or not, I think they're going to have to really look at these wounds, or look at the sabotaging behaviors that they have, or understand more of why they do the things that they do, and look at the consequences of their actions, rather than just go hide on their own or be alone and not have to look at it. So I think that this has already started, in other words, like the wheel has already started turning in your person, whether they like it or not. That there's almost no going back once they made that connection with you, and once that hit them like a ton of bricks and that divine love was activated. I think that even if they go and hide, there's nowhere that they can hide anymore now that it's already started. But here is that sabotaging type of feeling that this person has. I think with the Five of Swords, that they don't feel secure in this energy. And so whenever they start to even get an inkling of feelings about you with this Page of Cups, they tamp it down, and they just decide that they want to make something tragic happen so that they don't have to deal with it. So in other words, if you make a nice connection, if you feel like you have a good day with this person, but then you find that they just pick a fight with you and you can't figure out why they're doing that, that's why. Because they don't want to deal with those feelings, because those feelings are what's really triggering their wounds, and they'd rather just deny it and not have to deal with it or think about it. So, but you, what's happening because of that is that any amount of support and loving energy that you used to have for this person, or any amount of that that's left with this Four of Wands energy, you're starting to detach from it with this Eight of Cups. So where you understand that this mirroring that you're doing with each other, or whatever this is, that you're maybe not, I don't know that you're mirroring. It feels more like you are showing this person their wounds, and that's your job, is to be able to shine the light on their wounds so they can heal. But the more they push back, and the more they try to pick fights, and the more that they deny their feelings, the more detached you are becoming. Because you did feel like you shared feelings there. You did feel like the two of you had something growing. You did feel like you reached certain milestones with this person, but yet they seem to not be getting it, or if they are getting it, they're denying it or pushing it away. And the more they do that, the more they push you away with this Eight of Cups. And so it does feel like you are detaching. It feels like you are almost looking for something else, because this Eight of Cups person is not chasing anybody. If anything, they're just throwing up their hands and saying, I don't really like the direction this is going. I appreciate the milestones we've reached with the Four of Wands, but it's really time for me to find something else. The Eight of Cups is someone who is seeking something else. They don't know where they're going. The Eight of Cups doesn't necessarily have a destination. They know they just don't want to stay here anymore. And so even if there are milestones that have been made with this person, you feel like you want to move on, because they can't help themselves from sabotaging the connection. They see you as a very self-sustained, self-loved type of person. They know that you don't need them. They know that you're not going to chase them. They know that you have good boundaries. They know that they could be losing you. They see you in a very high level type of energy, that a very high vibration type of energy. That's how they see you. So they know that they're risking a lot by pushing you and pushing you and pushing you away, but they also are kind of hoping that they will be successful in pushing you away, because again, they don't want to deal with it. You see them as really needing to release a lot of pent-up energy, a lot of wounds. You see them as having a lot of attachments to fears, insecurities, anxieties, insecurities. Did I already say that? But anyway, you see them as having a lot of this almost devil energy coming through, that they need to really, you see them as needing to release a lot of these things. And I think that, again, that was the reason you were in their life. This divine love was activated so that they would take action towards this. But instead, what they're doing is making it worse and avoiding it, which there's only so much you can do about that until they decide to release their attachments from whatever these fears are. Then there's really not a whole lot that you can do about that. And I think with this Nine of Swords and the Four of Cups coming together here, I think that your person is detaching from some of these worries that they have, that they're trying to balance their emotions with the Four of Cups, but I think they're not telling you that or showing you that. They're doing more work behind the scenes than what is really showing up here, and certainly than what you can see. Because if you feel like this is just a period of darkness, you're almost feeling like this is hopeless, which is why we see the Eight of Cups on your side. But I think your person is experiencing something a lot deeper. I do. I think your person is starting to make more healthy choices in the background. They're starting to love themselves more. They're starting to become happier. They're starting to become lighter. But I think you have no idea about that, because I think they're just still showing you this combative, backstabbing, whatever things they're trying to do to sabotage, or their ego or their stubbornness or whatever they're bringing to the situation that's frustrating as hell to you. You're only seeing that, but in the background, they're definitely going through something. This is clear to me with that. And I think that even though you probably keep telling this person that you're walking away, I think that you really haven't started that process yet. I think you want to hang in there. I think that you confidently want to stay in this relationship, but you know that it depends on this person making changes. But the good news is I can see that this person is legitimately making changes. This is what the cards are telling me. And that even though right now it may seem strange and surreal to you, the way this person is purposefully sabotaging the connection, it's almost like you know deep down that this person is going to be better, that you're going to get a better version of this person, someone that you can forgive, someone that you can allow back into your life. I think that the spirit realm is purposefully holding the two of you apart right now. I think that's why your person might be doing this healing in the background without letting you know, because I think that your person's spirit team is really getting through to them. I think that's what I was saying before, that once this divine love was activated between the two of you, it was like you can't unring the bell. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And that's where your person is, that it's like they can say, I can sabotage this all I want, but I don't think that's really what I want, because this person is what you are, what this person wants, and they don't want to lose you because they do feel it in their soul, because you are in their soul. And so I think that's, again, sorry, I'm channeling, so I'm getting jumbled, but this is why your person is doing the work in the background, because on their soul level, they know they don't want to lose you, and their spirit team is 100% helping them. That's what the Six of Pentacles is telling me, that you are getting help from the spirit realm. This Sun card underneath here is giving me that same feeling of ego. I think it's very strongly your person's ego that is keeping the two of you apart, that there's something there that your person just doesn't want to admit, that they have wounds. They don't want to admit that they are vulnerable. They don't want to admit that they have feelings. Make this make sense for you, but it's their ego that is certainly getting in the way, and perhaps a lack of confidence with this Sun card underneath too, that you're showing up very confident with the Queen of Wands and Strength, where they're showing up with this Sun card as being the challenge. And so they don't feel confident to come towards you. And I think it's because they know the energy they're in right now does not match yours, and that they cannot meet you where you are with all of these wounds. But they have to want to fix those wounds, and that's the problem. So the thing that keeps the two of you together, though, is this wedding rings card. And this is, I mean, some of you might be married, so make that make sense for you, but that's not what I'm getting from this card. This is about a soul connection. This is about a union of souls and everlasting love and being devoted to each other regardless of what happens. Knowing that your souls are in alignment with this 8 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is that you know this can be the greatest love of your life. And you want to go the distance on this relationship, but you know that this separation right now, the space between you, the blockages that exist between the two of you are necessary so that your person can do this healing, which it looks like they are, so that the two of you can come together and be in a really fulfilling and purposeful type of relationship. And I think you know that it's a matter of time. And I think you're right. I think it is just a matter of time, because we're seeing so many good cards that exist between the two of you, and your person is doing this work behind the scenes. I think that you go through cycles with this person. You go through moments where you just want to be done with them and not have anything to do with them. And I think you're feeling that kind of right now with this 8 of Cups. But deep down, you know you're not giving up on this person. And your person is not giving up on you, because it looks like even though they thought they were refusing to do the work, they're secretly doing the work. So there you go. That is your reading. For those of you who chose the 9 of Swords, that's your reading for your love interest. Will you please let me know how this was resonant for you? Consider subscribing to the channel if you like my vibe, and we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.